Hi, welcome back. I'm just flying along, letting you know what's going on. And so I thought I'd let you know that while I was at the appointment with my new hip specialist, Dr. Jagan, we did tentatively book a date for my operation. The date will be the 6th of April 2024. I'm going into Ashford Hospital here in South Australia. Now, my surgeon operates under the banner of the Joint Replacement Clinic. Now, I didn't realise when I went to see him, but I'm really, really glad that I chose him because of all the benefits I'm now going to get from him, and from him being under the Joint Replacement Clinic. So basically what that is I have my own clinical nurse, and ahead of time she's the one that coordinates and organises all the appointments, all the pre-op appointments, all the after-op appointments, and if I don't have it, she organises the equipment for me to take home and free of charge for 7 days. As that stands, I think the only thing I will need now is a walker, because I'm pretty sure I've got everything else already organised. Let me see. So they've already started and they've created a pathway to my surgery. And I was very excited when I first got the phone call from my liaison clinical nurse, because anything I have to do, if it's an x-ray, she organises it all. So really, and you know, you're always getting, when you're going to hospital, you usually get an online admission form that you have to fill out, and there's this and there's that, and if you don't have access or knowledge of how to use a computer, it can be pretty daunting. But also just having an answer to something, and you know you're not going to get a phone call or a message from your, if you're going to ring up with a question and you want it answered, she's the girl that gets straight on it. And so far I'd had a couple of questions, and just like that, she was on it. It's kind of taken the worry. It's something as simple as I've got to have a pre-op blood test, an ECG. That has to be done day 3 to 5 prior to my surgery. Now, as it stands, the 6th of April is a Saturday. So I'll be admitted on the Saturday, surgery on the Saturday. The weekend before that is Easter. So the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday is a public holiday. And then to get in that time frame, the first day back at work after is the 2nd of April. So I actually rang the place myself, because that was one thing I had to choose, what date. And I thought to myself, well, I want to know, do I have to actually pre-book? And I thought, instead of ringing the clinical nurse, I will just find that out myself. So I rang and I said that I have to have pre-op testing and an ECG, and it has to be day 3 to 5 prior to out from my scheduled surgery. So it was that young lady at the clinical labs, I think it's called, where I have to go. And she alerted me to the fact that, Easter was sort of prior to that, and they're going to be shut between this and this. And that young lady, when I told her I had to have it day 3 to 5, that young lady advised me incorrectly, since I found out, that it would be okay to come on the 28th of March. And I said to her, but I've got to have it day 3 to 8. You'll be fine. Just pop in on the 28th of March. That didn't sit well with me, because when they specifically tell you you've got to have it between this day, there's a reason. There is a reason. And even though in my head, all I could think of was they need those test results as of those days. So this is where I decided that I should ring my clinical nurse. So I got on the phone, and the phone rang, and then it rang out. And then I realised it was 10 to 9. So, probably like a lot of places, they're not working until 9. So I hung up, and almost immediately my phone rings. It's a clinical nurse. And she apologised that she missed my call, that she was driving and couldn't take the call at that very moment. And I'm like, oh, well, this is great. I told her my plight, and I explained everything. And she said, well, let me tell you now, you are asked to take it day 3 to 5 because of levels and, ECGs for your heart. That's a specific time frame that we need to have it done and those results. She said, so please, don't go there that early. And she said the 2nd of April would be fine. It's because it's shut the day before as well. So there's one worry I didn't have to worry about. And she was pleasant, and she's lovely. And I've actually got 2. I've got my main one, but she's actually gone on holiday for a week, and so I've got one of the other nurses that is just taking her kind of workload. And so I thought, what a benefit of having been able to grab somebody. You just want that, don't you? You just don't want to be leaving messages and then no one rings you back, and it's very, very frustrating. So that was really a plus. I've got some notes here. Let me just have a quick look. All right, so I've got here that I've already been assigned my clinical nurse to look after my starting journey. She's there to answer any questions I have, and so far she's been on the ball. She makes sure that all my pre-op and post-op appointments are in place with people like the anaesthetist, physio, post-op and pre-op, post-op general physician that they give you. How about this? Home support services. So if I needed someone to come in and help me, and this we won't because my husband lives with me, but this would be great if you lived on your own. Who else? Oh, I love this one. I'm not going to use it. I'd love to use it. But I can have an actual, I think it's called a concierge something or other. But I can have a car come and pick me up and take me to the hospital for admission, and also take me home when it's my time to come home. I was really impressed with that. Unfortunately, I don't think we need that, so I'm not going to kind of take that up. And follow-up appointments with all the specialists. And I've actually received the letter that I've already got the appointments. I've got the dates, the times, and where to go, and all that is already in place. And this is only, probably a couple of weeks out from when I first saw Dr. Jegan. Very, 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 very impressed with that. Let's see, and she had also sent out the referrals for the pre-op bloods and the ECG. I'm just really, really excited about this. It sounds like I'm actually being sponsored by, the Joint Replacement Clinic, but I'm not. I'm just over the moon that there is such a. And the best part is there is no gap. There is nothing for me to pay. I pay when I go into hospital. I pay a $450 excess, but that is once a year. So so my first initial for the first calendar year, I pay the $450, and if I have to go in for at hospital for any reason for the next part of that calendar year, I don't have to pay an excess. And believe me, that's happened to me at least 2 occasions that come off the top of my head. So that was great. So I paid the $450 on arrival to the hospital. My private health covers the hospital stay and the use of the theatre. The doctor and the anaesthetist, bulk bill, my physio, and if I'd taken up the car, and if I had taken up the home care service, and if I was to hire any equipment for that 7 days, that's all covered by this whole package of this that I'm under. And this is how great it is. Even my sister, and she's older than me, so I'm going to be 69 this year. So my sister, I think, is about 75, and she said, "You need to double check that. That doesn't sound right. Nobody does that." Well, I think it's maybe a new thing. I don't know. You tend to hear about these great services in the United States, but I must admit, I've not heard of anything here. And even when I rang my hospital, my private health suppliers, and I was telling them, the woman on the other end was like, "I've never heard of that." So that's all really, 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 really cool. I don't want to ramble on too much. I wanted to sort of keep these a bit short. The physio, and then I get physiotherapy. I don't know if I said that in just what I was telling you, but for 6 weeks. I think that might work out. I got a pre-op visit, and I've got 5 other visits, but I think that might be once a week. I think I also have a nurse come out, or I get seen by my nurses. Shahara is the one that I'm under, and she's the one that's on holiday at the moment. But she should be back by then. So she comes to visit me in the hospital, and I come and let's have a look. I think I get a couple of weeks of weekly checkups by the nurse, and that might be by video chat or just taking a photo of the wound and surrounding, and if I need, she will rock up as well. So that's all really cool. The only thing that hasn't been put in place as yet is the IVC, I think that's what I was calling it, IVC filter. And this is another great thing. When I rang, and I got Chantel the other day because Shahara is on holidays, and I said, I've got all the appointments, but I don't see anything for, I think it's a radiologist that's going to put up. So this filter goes through the groin into the vein, I think it goes into. I said, I don't see anything for that. So she said, well, leave that with me. I'll get to it today, and I'll discuss it with the doctor, or if I can see because she's my nurse, she can also see my notes. And she rang me back within an hour, and she said that what it basically says in my notes is that we're waiting on the letter or the information from my neurologist. Then if the decision to use the IVC filter is made, then that appointment will be made and that will be put in place. So that was good. So there's one thing, again, I don't have to worry about because I kept thinking, have they missed it? And I don't have an appointment, and what if I get there and it's too late then because it wasn't done? And so no, now I know. So I didn't have to worry about that. And as I said as well, on the 19th of March, I see my neurologist. On the 20th of March, I see the surgeon again. That's when he will make the decision about the filter. I feel really confident at the moment. I feel it's the best I have felt for a long time. I think the fact that really, except for getting this ECG and blood thing, I've done everything. I've got the equipment that I need. I decided to buy nighties and not have pajama pants because, I don't want to have to be yanking my pants off for them to look at the wound. So I've gone for old granny nighties. I call them granny nighties. So I bought 4 new granny nighties. And if I never wear them again, it doesn't matter because they only cost me like $10 or $11 each. So, and I've got them a size bigger so that it's, I'm nice and comfy. I am going to take some long pajama pants with me in case I want to. And what else have we got? We've got I've got a cooling pad now because they suggest you have one of those, and I got a fairly big one that I felt would cover the wound, and I've got some small ones, so I think I'm right there. I know that I'm having a phone call from the anaesthetist soon that's going to take even more detail, because I've got a lot to tell him, especially about the blood thinners, and my pupils do not react. And just anything else that he generally needs to know. I want to fill him in with C.A.A. and I want to make sure that it is known that, again, even if I was to have an episode, and for people that don't have C.A.A., an episode is almost mimics a stroke. So the numbness in the hands, the slurred speech, the droopy mouth, just about anything, which could be first sight you would think I was actually having a stroke, and in fact I am, but it's in my brain, and usually I recover. So far, knock on wood, I recover within about 15 minutes, and there's not usually anything left. That's how it's been working for me. But I want him to know, so that if that should happen to me, they don't lose control and start trying to give me blood thinners and all sorts, because the chances are I may not be able to speak for myself. I'm very cognitive, but the speech goes, and that's a bit hard to, put your point across. So there's things, and I'm happy that, I've already filled out this, that, and everything else, and my Dr. Jegan has all that information, but it would be great to, I also want them to know that I've got certain allergies to codeine and oxycodone and fentanyl. So all these things put my mind at rest that somebody actually knows that down the track as well. So all we're waiting for is a letter from a neuro and update from my neuro. I actually got because since I think it was the 23rd of December, I sent my first message because he just left on holiday, and rang again the other day. I rang twice and left messages in case he had nothing to do on his holiday and decided to check his emails. And then I rang again the other day just to see if there was any free earlier appointments, and the receptionist said that she would send him another email. And then she rang me back a little bit later, and she said he's actually now got it. He has acknowledged it. He's working on the letter, and if he doesn't get it out before in the next week, he will have it there waiting for me to hand to me on the 19th of March. So right now, and she assured me if he didn't, we were both going to wrestle him to the ground till he gave it to me. But I told her she's on her own because I can barely walk, so she'll have to wrestle him herself. Okay, that's probably all for this video. Very happy with all that. I think I told you just now, I've got a knee brace. I don't know if I told you. I've actually got a knee brace on because I've had this problem now since September. It's got worse and worse. I'm on 2 sticks now, majority of the time. Sometimes I have days where I would swear I didn't even need surgery, but then it comes back with a vengeance. But yeah, I think it's the way I've been walking. And so I've got a knee brace on, trying to give that a little bit of support. I think that's all where we're at the moment. What I'm hoping to do is update you when I get the letter, or whatever happens with the neurologist, because I'm interested to actually see what he's got to say. And fingers crossed. I mean, I don't know what he's going to say. what if he says have blood thinners? It's like, well, how can you tell everyone not to have them? And then you go, oh, it's okay to have it. Because it's not just one. You have pre-surgery, in surgery, and every day while you're in there, which is 3 or 4 days. And then when you go home, you take aspirin, which is a blood thinner, for 6 weeks. That's a long time to be having blood thinners. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. I've done a little video. I've just showed what we've got, what I was gifted through the government, because I've joined a government scheme for older people, and you basically get a grant every year to help you. And what it's for is to be able to keep people at home rather than put them in nursing homes and stuff like that. But I was gifted a toilet seat riser. I call it gifted because this was the grant. A Jerry chair, which is one of those straight back chairs that you usually have sitting beside your hospital bed, and with arms so you can push yourself up, and a stool to match. What else was it? Toilet seat riser, Jerry chair. They're putting up a handheld shower in the bathroom, handrails outside, front and back. I think that's about it. All right, I have to go now. I shall catch up with you later. Have a good day.